The morning sun broke over the Montana plains, painting gold across the dew-tipped grass and casting long shadows from the white fences that lined the old Walker Ranch. The air smelled of hay, horses, and new beginnings. Though for Clara Hayes, beginnings were the very thing she no longer believed in. She stood by the wooden gate, her hands tight on the latch, her eyes fixed on the horizon where the world seemed to stretch endlessly, offering a freedom she couldn't feel. She had come to this ranch to work, to escape the noise of the city, the whispers, the pitying looks after the doctors told her she'd never be able to carry a child. It had been years since that moment, yet the words still echoed like a curse in her chest. You can't be a mother. She had built walls, layer upon layer, until she forgot what softness felt like. Then came him, Jesse Walker, a widowed rancher with 3 kids, a quiet strength, and eyes that saw right through her defenses like sunlight through thin glass. The first time she met him, she thought he was gruff, maybe even cold. He spoke little, worked hard, and loved harder, though not many saw it. But Clara did. She saw it in the way he knelt beside his youngest daughter when she cried, the way he smiled quietly when his oldest son took the lead in the field, the way he paused by his late wife's photo before heading out each morning, whispering a promise no one else could hear. She was hired as the ranch cook, but soon the children followed her like ducklings. Sweet little Emma with curls and endless questions, shy Luke who rarely spoke but always watched her, and brave Sam, the eldest, already trying to be the man his father was. Each one pulled her closer, making her laugh again, making her forget the weight she carried. But every time she caught Jesse looking at her, really looking, that old fear clawed its way back. It was late afternoon when Jesse found her by the barn, brushing down one of the horses. The sky had that amber glow that made everything look softer, kinder. You handle her well, he said, leaning against the wooden post, his voice low, steady. Clara smiled faintly. She's just nervous, she said, patting the mare's neck. Sometimes a little patience does more than force ever could. Jesse's lips curved, that rare smile that made her chest tighten. Yeah, he murmured. I know something about that. They stood in silence for a while, the sounds of the ranch wrapping around them, the cluck of chickens, the wind rustling through the pines, the distant laughter of children. It was a simple sound, yet it filled something empty inside her. Later, at supper, the kids chattered endlessly, Emma spilling milk, Sam teasing Luke, Jesse watching with that quiet pride. Clara moved around the table serving stew, smiling despite herself. When Jesse reached for his plate, their hands brushed. It was brief, barely a touch, but it sent a current through her. His hand was rough, warm, and grounding. She withdrew quickly, retreating to the kitchen, heart pounding. She shouldn't feel this. She couldn't. He deserved someone whole, someone who could give him everything, not someone broken like her. That night, the wind howled across the plains, rattling the windows. Clara sat by the fire, her mind restless. The children had gone to bed and Jesse was still outside, tending to the horses. When he finally came in, his shirt clung to him from the rain, his hair damp, his eyes tired but gentle. You're still up? He asked. She nodded, motioning to the kettle. I thought you might want something warm. He sat across from her, the fire casting flickering shadows on his face. You don't have to do that, he said softly. You're a guest here. Clara smiled faintly. I'm working here. Jesse, not exactly a guest. He studied her for a moment, the silence stretching between them until it was almost unbearable. You're more than that, he said finally, his voice low. The kids, they've taken to you. And so have I. Clara froze. Her breath caught. Don't, she whispered, eyes lowering to the mug in her hands. Don't say things like that. Jesse frowned slightly. Why not? Because it's not fair, she said, her voice trembling. To you, to them, to me. You don't know what you're asking. He leaned forward, his elbows on his knees. Then tell me, he said, so I can understand. Tears welled in her eyes. I can't be a mother, Jesse, she whispered. I can't give you that. I can't give them that. And they deserve someone who can. The silence after her words was heavy, raw. For a long moment, Jesse didn't move. Then slowly he stood and walked around the table, kneeling beside her chair. His hand found hers, firm and steady. Clara, he said softly. Those 3 kids upstairs, they already call you Mama when they think I'm not listening. Her breath hitched. What? Emma told Luke last night, he said, smiling faintly, that Mama makes the best apple pie. Luke corrected her and said, "She's not our Mama." But Sam looked up and said, "She is now. She just doesn't know it yet." Clara's tears spilled freely then, breaking through years of walls she'd built to survive. Jesse reached up, brushing a strand of hair from her face, his thumb gentle against her cheek. "You already are, Clara. You've been one since the day you walked through that gate, not because you gave birth to them, but because you love them like no one else could. And as for me," his voice faltered for a moment, then steadied, "I've been half a man since my wife passed. But since you came here, I've started to feel whole again. You don't need to carry what you can't change. Just carry what's in front of you." She wanted to speak, to tell him he was wrong, that love wasn't enough, but the truth was, she'd already fallen too far to fight it. The sound of rain softened outside, and the fire cracked between them. Jesse stood, offering his hand. "Come on," he said gently. "You've done enough for tonight." She